Hey everyone, hope your day is fantastic. I just wanted to make a little video on drop ceilings and a little how-to to do that. So here in this bathroom, I have to build a drop ceiling, as you can see above me, because of some of the right here. Wow, this is so hard. Right there, the metal pipe, that's the vent for the furnace, and there's a couple other things up there. Well, actually there's not. There was a lot of plumbing vents, but we got rid of those and put them in the kitchen. I got to build a drop ceiling around that, and you can see I already built that right there. That new lumber, that little bump out section. And so I don't know why this is so complicated to me. I was brainstorming and I was like, what's the best way to do this? And it's just really not that complicated, so I'm gonna make a video on it. So that one's already done. I can't really show you how to do that, but here in this kitchen, see those plumbing pipes? We need to build a drop ceiling. Actually, this would kind of be a soffit around those pipes to hide them, because this is the kitchen. That'd be not the most appetizing thing to see plumbing pipes while you're cooking. So we need to build that. So yeah, we're gonna need some lumber and a nail gun or some screws, and that's really it. Piece of cake, so stay tuned. All right, we're ready to go. Got all of our lumber. Keep in mind, I'm not a professional. I do not have a degree in drop ceilings or soffits. So if you copy me exactly and then your building inspector gets mad, it's not my fault, sorry. But for the average DIYer, maybe this can help or just be fun to watch. So I have a little mock-up of a wall right here. This would be called the top plate, the bottom plate, and the studs. And this is basically what we're gonna be making our soffit or drop ceiling out of. So you can imagine, if you need to drop the ceiling, you need a little bit of a wall there. This is gonna be the wall. But then also this same structure can be turned this way to be the actual ceiling. So just as those studs in a wall are vertical, if you flip the wall, put it on the ceiling, now you get rafters like this. And we need those to screw sheetrock to and any other light fixtures or anything like that. So we have to have that structure. We can't just put a big piece of plywood or anything like that. You really could, but that's just not really the greatest way of doing that. The main thing I try to keep in mind when I build something like this is the loading and where the nails are. So you can imagine if this is a wall, little stem wall, that's say the drop ceiling is coming out like this. This is the normal ceiling and you want to drop it down this much. If you want to do that, you could just nail this straight to the old ceiling, the rafters, and then build your other ceiling right here and butt it up against here. But that leaves nails coming through here and here, which are in the same direction of any forces. So gravity, of course, if you hang something heavy, the sheetrock itself, anything like that would want to pull those nails out, which nails are not very strong in that direction, just because they slip right out of the wood. They're really strong, say in this direction, and then you try and take this board and yank it down, it's not gonna wanna go because you're trying to shear the nail in half. So keep that in mind when you build this. So when I build the drop ceiling that I did over there, and what I'm gonna do here is I build the ceiling part and I make sure that's nailed to the studs. And in this case, in the kitchen, I don't have anything. In the case of this kitchen, I don't have anything to nail this outside piece to. It's just gonna be floating. So I'm actually going to put a board like this and tie it into the ceiling with some nails, and then so I can nail the drop ceiling to that so it has some load-bearing components that are tied into the ceiling. And then after the actual drop ceiling is done, then you can build a little stem wall and just set it up there and nail it in, because it doesn't really take any load and it's just there to hold that little bit of sheetrock. I think that's more or less the better way to build a drop ceiling or a soffit. And really it's not that complicated. Don't overcomplicate it if you're doing this. You're just trying to cover up some stuff, so just cover it up, make it neat and nice, and make sure your studs are on 16 center, and your rafters, your new rafters, your drop ceiling studs, I put those at 16 as well. You could probably do 24 just fine, like normal rafters are. So let's get to building this one. Now, if you're building a wall on the floor first, and then you're gonna lift it up, or a drop ceiling, you know, the ceiling part, make sure the floor is clean, because dirt and stuff, it'll make the wall all warbly. It's not really a word, but, and make sure the floor is level, because if your floor is not level, kind of caves down on one corner, your wall is gonna be a little droopy, or potato chippy, and then you're gonna fix it on the ground, and then it's not really gonna work. Yeah, my floor's not level, but we'll work around it. Okay, so what I did there is take the straightest board I could find, because a friend's borrowing my long level, so just had to find a board. And I wanted to make sure, since this soffit's blending into this pre-existing little bump out, I want to make sure that that wall up top looks straight and flat. So I needed to come off of that wall and make sure I'm perfectly parallel, and not at a different angle, because you would be able to see that. So now I know where straight is, so now I can measure how deep this way my actual ceiling needs to be, so that I can build that big old rectangle, get it up there, anchor it, and then build the small wall up top. Wait, what was this? Oh, I should write this down. I forget everything. I need to write everything down. 26 and 5/8, 26 and 5/8, 26 and 5/8. All right, I almost forgot. Before we nail these two end pieces in, we need to mark out 16" on center for the studs. And it's easier to do them when they're both next to each other, because you can just transcribe the lines to the other board. So we're gonna do that. And since this side we're assuming is square, we're gonna start with this side, line it up, and our first stud's gonna be right here. All right, to test fit this, I'm just using screws, screw into the wall as a holder, so when I put this wall up, it'll rest on this so I don't have to hold it. If you have two people, you don't have to do this. Okay guys, I actually changed my mind on what I want to do with this drop ceiling. The way I was building it is the biggest dimension needed to cover up the pipes, and so there's a lot of wasted space in that, and I think it really just encroaches on the kitchen too much. So I think I'm just gonna make it a slightly smaller. Not a big deal, really not a whole lot more work, but you can see, so basically I designed it to cover up this pipe. That's how wide it needs to be, but the other pipes are super slim up against this wall, except this one, but that's half what the other one is, you know, you see? So I think I'm actually gonna make this kind of a two-stage soffit instead of a single, because it just, I don't know, it encroaches on the kitchen a little bit too much. Maybe it doesn't, I don't know. I gotta stare at it more. All right guys, I made an executive decision to make this a soffit a little smaller. There it is. So this part is the same. This part I just made a little bit smaller, since the small pipe over there doesn't take as much to cover up. And that way it'll give that light a little more angle for the stove countertop area over there, so it's not, you know, in shadow. So yeah, hopefully that was a good idea. It's done now, so yeah, we'll continue with the project after lunch. I'm starving. All right, so we got it up, and I just want to show you what it looks like. So right here, you can see this piece is tied into the ceiling with some nails and screws, and then it's also tied into this front piece, also this side piece. So here we have it. There's this small section. So basically what I did is I put a level up here, make sure we're level, and then propped it up and then nailed it to this piece, which I already had kind of pre-installed. And that way it ensures we're all level, and you take a little eyeball look at it and it looks pretty flat and straight. So yeah, now all we have to do is put the walls up here and just trim around this so we can get a nice corner right here. And that's it. All right, I'm slowly running out of energy, but I got the two tiny walls done. This one goes up there and that one goes up there. So yeah, there you go. There'll be a wall right there, and then there'll be a wall right there. And then once those are up, then I can do that little tiny section. But I'm gonna probably build that up there just because it's easier. Yeah, so now you know how to build a soffit inside or a little drop ceiling. It's really no big deal. I guess I'll see you guys next time. Pencil go? Where'd my pencil go? Oh, it's in my pocket.